The day I saw a drone hovering outside my bedroom window, I knew something was seriously wrong because it was not just passing by, it was staying there, steady, focused, like it was watching and recording, and when I stepped closer, it slowly adjusted. Its position to keep me in frame like someone on the other end did not want to miss a single detail. At first I thought maybe it belonged to a neighbor just messing around or testing new equipment, but that idea disappeared quickly because this was not random movement. This was controlled, precise, and deliberate, and it kept coming back every single day. The second time I saw it was early in the morning. I was outside checking something near the yard, and there it was again, hovering just above the fence line, facing directly toward my property, not moving, not drifting, just watching, and that feeling in your chest when you realize you are being observed without permission hit hard. I tried to ignore it at first because I did not want to jump to conclusions, but over the next few days it became impossible to pretend it was nothing. It showed up at different times, morning, afternoon, even late evening, always in positions that gave a clear view into my space, and that is when I knew this was not a coincidence. Before this goes further, make sure you like this video and subscribe to Karen Stories Daily, because this situation turned into something much bigger than anyone expected, and you are going to want to hear how it played out. I decided to gather proof instead of reacting emotionally, so I started recording every time the drone appeared. I took videos from different angles, noted the time, and tracked how long it stayed and what areas it focused on, and the pattern that emerged made everything even more disturbing. It was not just flying randomly, it was targeting specific parts of my property, windows, doors, entry points, like someone was studying the layout and behavior, and that realization changed everything for me. So I went to the HOA office and asked them directly if they had any kind of surveillance program or drone usage for community monitoring, and the reaction I got was immediate denial. They said they had no idea what I was talking about and suggested it might be a hobby drone from someone nearby, but their response felt rehearsed, too quick, too clean, like they were ready for that question. That same evening, the drone came back again, hovering even closer this time, and I could clearly see the camera adjusting angle as I moved, and that was the moment I decided enough was enough. I went inside, grabbed a legal airsoft launcher I kept for pest control, and stepped back outside, keeping my distance but making sure I had a clear line. And when the drone lowered slightly as if trying to get a better view, I took the shot, one clean hit. The drone lost balance, immediately dropped straight down and hit the ground inside my yard, and everything went quiet. For a second, I just stood there looking at it because I knew whatever happened next, this moment would be important. I walked over, picked it up carefully, and examined it, and what I saw confirmed everything. There was no personal marking, no casual setup. This was a high-end device with modifications, extended battery range, enhanced camera, and something else that caught my attention, a small tag hidden underneath with a code, not a name, not a number, just a code. That was not normal. I took it inside, placed it on the table, and started documenting everything. Photos, video, serial details, because I knew this was no longer just about privacy. This was something bigger. The next day, I received a notice, not a warning, not a conversation. A legal notice from the HOA claiming I had destroyed community property and demanding compensation. That was when everything became clear. They knew exactly what that drone was, and now they wanted to flip the situation on me. But what they did not know was that I had already gathered enough evidence to prove exactly what they had been doing and how long it had been going on. I looked at the notice again and realized this was not just a complaint. This was a mistake on their part, because by pushing legal action, they had just opened the door for everything to come out, and I was ready for it. The moment I read that legal notice, I knew this was no longer just about a drone. This was about exposing something they never expected anyone to challenge, and instead of backing down, I started preparing properly, because if they wanted to take it further, I was ready to show exactly what had been happening. I organized every piece of evidence I had, the recordings, the timestamps, the flight patterns, and the way the drone positioned itself near windows and private areas, and when you put it all together, it was clear this was not random, this was targeted surveillance. I also had the drone itself, and that small hidden code became important because once I had it checked, it linked back to equipment registered under a third-party vendor connected to HOA services, and that connection changed everything. When the hearing came, they walked in confident, like they thought this would be quick and simple, like they would just pressure me into paying for the damage and move on. But the moment the evidence started being presented, their confidence started to fade. I explained calmly how the drone repeatedly entered my private space, how it recorded without consent, and how I had proof of a pattern, not a single incident. And when the footage was shown, you could see exactly what it had been doing, hovering near windows, adjusting angles, tracking movement, and the room went quiet. Then the connection to the vendor came up, and that was the turning point, because it showed this was not some random hobby device, it was part of something organized, and once that was on record, everything shifted. Their argument about property damage suddenly looked very different because now the focus was on what they had been doing and why. They tried to respond, saying it was for security monitoring, but there was no consent, no notice, and no legal ground for that kind of surveillance, and that is where their case started to fall apart. In the end, the claim against me did not hold, and instead questions were raised about their actions and how far they had gone without telling anyone, and that outcome spoke for itself. After that day, the drone never came back. The silence in the air felt different, like something had finally been shut down for good, and the same people who once acted like they controlled everything stayed quiet. It showed me something important. When someone crosses a line like that, they expect no one to push back, but the moment you do, everything changes. If you made it this far, let me know what you would have done in this situation and share this story with someone who needs to hear it, and make sure you are subscribed to Karen's Stories Daily for more stories like this where things are not always what they seem.